Hey, this is Eddie with the Crippled Handyman. Thanks for joining me. If you clicked on this, I guess you're probably looking to see what are the basic tools every homeowner should have. And I thought about this like quite a bit. And I've been a homeowner for many years. And when you worked in the field as a contractor and so forth, you you collect a lot of tools. But there are homeowners out there. You don't need skill saws, sawzalls, heavy duty power tools, jackhammers, heavy pipe wrenches. Um, you don't need all that stuff. I'm talking for I would say the basic essential needs of what every homeowner would need just to do random little things around your home. And I'll do another video about, say, if you want to do a project, say you want to build a deck. I'll get into that. What kind of tools you need to do a project like that. So, first tool um, would be a hammer, just a basic 20-ounce claw hammer, and that's more or less a straight claw. You don't want the claw that has like a major hook on it. You don't want a claw hammer like that. Just a simple 20-ounce claw hammer. That would be it. That'd be part of your tool. Say you want to put picture up and put a little nail in, or normally maybe the hammer a 20-ounce might be overkill. Maybe you get away with a 16-ounce, but I would recommend that hammer because that hammer has more versatile type uses versus owning multiple types of hammers. This hammer is more or less, it'll get you could do a lot of stuff with this hammer in itself. So yeah, so a hammer would be the number one. And just note that a hammer of something like that, you could get like a brand Husky. It doesn't matter. It does not have to be a super expensive hammer. So as a Husky hammer you get for like $17.97, $18 plus tax. So that would be your first thing that you would need in your toolbox set. Next thing is a screwdriver set. Now there are so many types of size. There's different size screwdrivers. You have a number 1, number 2, number 3. Primarily, most things are done with a number 2, and what that is, I'll show you. Here I have. Now we're talking. We want the screwdriver says both. It'll be both the flat blade and a Phillips. So here's a flat blade. Okay, that's a number 2. Here's another flat blade. That's a number 1. This is like if you're screwing smaller things. I don't know, little knickknacks. You got to put a piece of furniture together. But that's your blade screwdrivers. And we'll add one more thing. I bought a set. It was a Stanley. I was actually impressed with the set because it has a little rubber grip on it. They call this a thumb screwdriver because you like really use your thumb to tighten it up. In tight places, say you can't get this screwdriver in, you got that, and that's set up in a number 2. So that would be the flat blades, and then the Phillips. Like I said, it was a set. That's the number 1 Phillips. That's the number 2 Phillips. Most screws are number 2, but small appliances, or I don't know, maybe you repair computers. There's probably other special sets for that. We've got a number 1 and a number 2 on the Phillips. And again, with this set, had a Phillips and a thumb screwdriver. So that would be your screwdriver set. And I've seen sets like this at Home Depot for a price of like $19.97. So $20 for a screwdriver set. Let's see. What's the next thing on the list? Well, a tape measure. Good old Stanley. I buy 30s because I do a lot of projects. I buy a 30-foot tape measure. As a homeowner, a basic tape measure, you could probably get away with a 25-footer. I don't know if I really get a 10-footer or 15-footer. I would not recommend that. Sometimes you want to measure the length of the room, or say you're doing, say you're thinking about doing something future, measuring drapes or whatnot. I would recommend a 25-foot tape measure. And I buy the Stanley in like the, I don't know, metal type case. I really like them. I don't know. I've had being in construction for 30 years. I've seen guys with the Fat Maxes, like the black one, the lot of rubber stuff. You know, I've had I've actually had pretty good luck with these, believe it or not. I got probably 3 or 4 tape measures around. Never leave home without one. But a 25-foot tape measure will run you like $11.97, $12. Um, the next thing is not really necessary, but it wouldn't hurt to own one. I don't own one. I used a knuckle test, a stud finder. So they got these little, really affordable stud finders. And if you want to make sure you're hanging up, say a heavier picture or a painting or a mirror, anything a little bit heavier that you want to make sure you hit a stud, that'll get you right in the center. When I do the knock test, I know where my screw or nail are going to go, and I'll actually do I'll take a finish nail and a finish trim nail, and I'll like put a hole, and I'll make sure I'm in the center. So yeah, I may have some holes in it, but the picture it's a permanent thing. It's going to stay there. It's not going to come off the wall. I don't, but I would recommend getting a stud finder. You get one for $20. That's an optional thing. You don't have to, but recommend it. The next thing is torpedo level. You want to, say you're doing shelving or bookshelves, however whatever you're hanging on the wall, you want to make sure things are at, level. I put down the torpedo level, and it's a 9-inch torpedo level. It's got 45, you go horizontal or you go vertical with it. But you can find these for about $10.97, $11 for these. Now, I would also, it's not necessary, it doesn't have to be in the basic toolbox, but I would also recommend a 2-foot level. So, it's not necessary, but it's something you could add to the list. And for a 2-footer, you're looking at $24. So I guess to keep the price down, you could get away with just a torpedo level. On that. Now the next thing is, say pliers, channel locks, side cutters. You get needle nose pliers. They sell a lot of these in packages, like Husky, Craftsman. So here's needle nose. Okay, they actually have a cutter on them. Say you're going to be replacing light fixtures in your house. You got pliers, to help twist your wire. Unless the wire, especially if the wire is solid. Then you got side cutters, okay, to cut the wire. Or doing any random projects, I don't know, maybe you want to cut some hard tie wire. Use a side cutter to cut those. And then channel locks. I would recommend channel locks. So these 4, I highly recommend having in your basic home toolbox for sure. A lot of homeowners, you may replace your toilet, and any little project. You never know when you need a pair of channel locks. It could come in handy at some time. And then wire strippers, I should say. And they have different kinds. Just a little bit more because I do a lot of the stuff I was working with. I highly recommend doing wire cutters. If you're replacing lights and you got to say restrip the wire coming for the fixture and clean it up a little bit. So wire strippers will be the one. You can use side cutters, but you got to be very, very, you have to know how to cut wire with this. You just pinch the insulated cable part, and then you strip it off without nicking the wire. A little bit harder to do if you've never done it, but wire strippers, they make those for a reason. so you don't even nick the copper wire, whether it's stranded or solid. And that's another entity I would have in my basic home kit. Um, because a lot of homeowners, I don't know, you may be replacing a doorbell. You might want to, maybe doing some low voltage stuff. That's where like some of these smaller screwdrivers come in, like the number one. You're messing around with little things. I mean, believe it or not, homeowners can do a lot of things. I wouldn't put any homeowner past of the things that you are able to do. So I would put that whole, if you buy a set like that, not the wire strippers, but the other four, the channel locks, needle nose pliers, side cutters, and pliers. You can find sets like that for like $28. And then the wire strippers, it's a smaller, a little bit smaller, and you can find a set. You can find a wire stripper for like $16. Um, pardon me. Next thing, a crescent wrench. If you want to say replace, I don't know, a sink, a faucet, toilet, I recommend getting crescent wrenches. This is just an 8-inch one. They actually sell sets of crescent wrenches, like a 6-inch and a 10-inch. And I would, that's like $25 for that. I have a little guy, little 4-inch and like an 8-inch. That's what I got. Or maybe that is a 6. Yeah, that's a 6-inch. That's an 8-inch. It pretty much handles whatever little things I got going on around here that I need them for. Say you're going to take off the fixture off the shutoff valve for, say you're going to replace um, the water lines to a new faucet. A lot of homeowners, they buy a house, they don't like the old existing faucets, they want to replace them. And there's plenty of men and women, they are more than capable of doing this themselves. And so this is what you would use is a crescent wrench. You don't use a pair of pliers or channel locks. I know a lot of people do. I'm not going to give you an F, but if you don't have it, you got to deal with what you work with. But this is about the basic tools every homeowner should have in their toolbox. And believe it or not, you could do pretty much any type of miscellaneous little project around your house. I'm talking little projects, replacing toilets, replacing light fixtures, putting furniture together, replacing faucets, I think I said that, installing ceiling fans, stuff like that. The next thing is you'd want to get yourself some electrical tape. This is yellow coated. They got black, yellow, black. It's a vinyl electrical tape. I recommend. You might be going through your house and be like, you know what? I want to replace the outlets around the kitchen or in the family room or my bedroom. I want to get that USB port deal so I could just plug my phone in that and I don't have to worry about that little adapter. Or I want to replace all the lighting switches to something else. Maybe a different style light switch. And then now we're going to get into, you're going to start doing stuff like that. You're going to want to get yourself a circuit tester. Okay. So obviously, you're not going to be able to test the light switch, but you're able to test your receptacles. You plug it in your receptacle, and yeah. So I recommend one of these electrical tape. Let me get a price of electrical tape like $3, less than $3. A circuit tester, you're talking about. They have this, and they have like the little wand that you just tap the deal, like as a pair. It's Klein makes it, and affordable set's like $25. What else? We got. You're doing projects. Say you want to, I don't know, patch up a hole in a wall, or you need a little putty knife. This may not be, I'm talking like putty knives. This is a 4, this is a 3. This one's on an angle. This one's been used, got bent pretty good. But a 4-inch one is all you would maybe need. This may not have to be in the bucket in your toolbox. I just added it. Maybe you got to scrape something, or we'll get into like maybe you're doing some sort of project where you got to scrape old adhesive off, or that's where a scraper would actually come in handy. And a putty knife, they could range from like $12 for a 4-inch putty knife, like $12 for a decent one. Another one I would recommend is an Allen key set. I like the ones that are all together like this. Um, they got, let's see, the sizes I have are 1/4 inch, 7/32, 3/16, and then anywhere from 5/32 down to 5/64. Um, so I would recommend these. Some furniture pieces. I know a lot of products when they sell them to you, they already have the tool in there to put it together. But sometimes that tool gets lost, and it's just nice to have that. An Allen key set. This is standard. You can get metric as well, but that would be just something random in your box. Actually, I didn't an Allen key set. This was the set I looked at had both standard and metric, so there would be two of them, and that was like $19. Um, and a retractable utility blade. I like the Stanley ones where the blade comes out. This one's a little different. I like the ones where you take the screw out and it stores the blades. That way, if you buy a set, most blade you buy a set of 5 blades, put the one blade in, and you can put the other 4 spare inside there, so you'll never lose. This one actually folds. It's actually kind of nice. It folds down, puts it in, and clip it in your pocket. But what I like about this one is a little bit safer. The blade isn't out. You can retract it. I have another kind of utility blade that I see a lot of people have. Is one that opens up, but the blade is always out. That one I'm not a fan of too much, but it's very they're very handy. And the utility blade, it was a Stanley's, a solid metal casing one, and that one was like $6. That one I like. If you're doing opening up boxes or something, you need a knife to use instead of using your steak knives. You have a utility knife. You probably aren't going to go get your little toolbox, but this is about the basic tools that I would recommend you have in your box. Well, then the next thing, you're going to need a little toolbox to put all these tools in. And you could buy a box for like just a cheap. I know Husky's got cheap boxes. I found one at home. All these pricings were from Home Depot. So you could find a cheap toolbox for like $27. And with the cost of everything today, everything is so expensive. And this is like the minimum. I think we could knock out some things. We could probably knock out the putty blades, the putty knife. We could probably knock out the 2-foot level. I wouldn't knock out really anything else. I would keep everything else there. Literally. Another thing I did not add, I didn't get a price on it. You could probably find one for $12-15, is a flashlight. I recommended a flashlight. I didn't get a price, but you could probably find a decent one for like $15. Um, and a lot of people use their phone, but realistically, if you're in an attic and you really want to zoom in and like, I don't want to blind buddy with this, but this like gets real low and really like it's pretty bright. I think the battery is getting low, but very simple. A little flashlight is something I would recommend. And without taking off like anything putty knives of this list, do you have to have a circuit tester? But if you're gonna do little like little like replacing receptacles and so forth, you buy a house, they're gray or not gray, say they're ivory and you want them white or whatever color you want. This would be recommended. They have them where you could actually trip the circuit. They have a GFI tester, a tripper. And so you plug it in and you trip it, you go right to the panel. And now, say your panel, like my panel, I think I'm going to go buy one. They're like $50 for that. It looks like this, but it's got a button in it and it'll like trip it out. It should. And I'm going to get one of those because my panel wasn't tagged when I bought it. Whoever replaced it like 8 years ago, I don't recall the exact date. They put a brand new 200 amp panel in, which I'm excited about. Um, but I'm going to get that so I could actually like mark up my whole panel. I don't know what's what. Um, and so the cost for all these items plus tax, like I said, I'm including the putty knives. The flashlight, I'll add the flashlight. So I add $15 to this total. And it's really shocking what this total is of what I just showed you. It comes out to like $280 plus tax. It's basically around $300 to have the basic tools as a homeowner that you should have around your house. And I would have all these. I guess we, like I said, we could break down. You don't need a 2 foot level. We could knock down maybe $50. Maybe you just put all the tools in a bucket. I wouldn't recommend that. Get a little toolbox, or all these tools would fit in a nice like utility drawer in the kitchen. If you have an extra spare drawer, all these tools would fit in there, and then you don't have to get the toolbox. So now you're about $230. Okay, for all the basic tools. But if you want to be like carry around, you're going to the other side of the house and versus going back and forth, like, oh gosh dang, I need that screwdriver. Grab your little toolbox, go wherever you're at, open it up and do your little task, replacing a light fixture or um, uh, light switch, receptacle, whatever you're going to do. Everything will work. So you want to get a new dishwasher to disconnect the plumbing lines. That's where the compressor wrench would come in. You disconnect the water lines to that, and you have the little screwdrivers, open up the electrical voltage box and all that. You shut the electrical breaker, the breaker off at the panel, and you got wire strippers. You got everything you need. Like, this is the basics. So for a low price of around $250, you could have yourself the basic tools that you got the go-to tools. I'm going to do an addition now. Say you want to do a lot of, like, I don't know, maybe I want to screw a bunch of stuff together, or you want to this one's totally optional. A battery drill. This one's totally optional. You don't have to get one. This is just a power drill. It's got a hammer. There's a hammer on it. I like this. Um, and if you didn't know the proper way on how to use these drills, a lot of people use the gun, and then they like tighten, open, and close the clutch. See that? That's actually not the right way to tighten an object in there. So if I'm putting my bit in there, whatever it is, you do it manually. Okay. I'm going to do it so you can see. Okay. I'm doing it manually. Now listen. Listen to this part. You hear those little clicks? Now that's locked in. When you do it with the trigger, if you read every manual, you're supposed to do it manually. And then loosen it, you just loosen it and pull it out. You're not supposed to use the actual trigger. So if you did not know that, it bothers me. Every construction guy want to do that. Listen. Click, click, click. It's tight. Doesn't loosen up. Did you ever use your drill when you're using the power of the drill, and why your bit starts loosening up and you're using the trigger to do it? That's why. Just a little tip. But if you want to get a drill, I would invest in a good drill, because what if in the future you want to do a project around the house and be like, you know what? I think I'm gonna, I don't know, build a piece of furniture, or maybe I want to fix my deck. Well, then there's other tools that you're going to need upon that. But this is optional, just to get like just a driver, a power driver drill, battery drill. We're talking $100. But this is a little bit higher end one. So I bought the impact with it. Another part that goes with it. Oh, there's the impact that goes with it. Um, this is a quick release clutch. You just pull that out, pull the bit out, and you don't even have to. You could just, and on that, you just push the bit in. You don't have to touch that. Only to remove it. You pull it out, to retract it. And You know who I'm done with? You see the brand. I'm not advertising for them. I'm done with DeWalt. Just saying. I burnt up. I lost about $1,500 in tools. They didn't last a long time. I am so like I'm up to here with them. I still have DeWalt tools that work, that function, but on the expensive ones that I got, they didn't last. So I'm not. So on that, like a power set like this, that was like $200. But yeah, that's the basic stuff that you need to buy. To As a homeowner, you're going out, you buy your first home, and you're excited, and you're walking in, and you and your wife's like, oh, I don't like that faucet. I don't like that light. These would be the basic tools you would need. And put it this way, it's an investment. So say you hire someone to come out to do all that work, right? Okay. And then you wonder why are they so expensive? Well, they invest in tools, knowledge, big one. That's the biggest one. But the second big one, cost factor, are tools. So if I add the battery drill or say the combo pack, we're looking at about $450, $500 just to be a homeowner with basic tools. And don't take that as a scary thing. Take that as like you don't have to hire someone to replace a light fixture, and say the light fixture costs you $40, right? Well, obviously you're gonna have to get a ladder, a step ladder. I didn't include that. Maybe someone was nice enough. You get a cheap step ladder, borrow a ladder, stand on it. Maybe just stand on a chair. You can. You don't have to. I like those little giant things that fold out. But as long as I guess you can reach the ceiling or the fixture, maybe you have bought a house with 14-foot ceilings, well, then you got a little problem. Then you're going to have to, hire somebody. I'm talking for the basic standard home, 9-foot ceilings and basic deals. But my point is someone comes out to replace that light fixture. They may charge you $250 and you paid $40 for the light fixture and they charge you $250. Well, what if you need them to come out again and again and again, and you plan on being a homeowner for the rest of your life? That's why I'm saying it's an investment. It's no different than buying good cookingware, silverware, plates. These are the basic tools every homeowner should have in their toolbox. As a homeowner, you don't have to go to this far extent. Even if you're a renter, it's like, what do you need that for? You may not need all this stuff. You could probably just find someone to borrow it from, as a renter. But as a homeowner, this is what I recommend. And this would get you through whatever you want to do on your own for the most part. I'll do another video as far as it'll get a little bit more extensive. Say you want to build your own deck, what tools you need to buy. You can rent tools also. You don't have to buy them. But the money you're saving from paying a contractor versus doing it yourself, as long as you do it right, pull permits and do all that, you'll do just fine. So hope this helps. And I'm going to try to, I don't even know how to leave a description on these things. I got to figure that out. But I'll leave a list probably now of all the things that you need. So we're going to talk about a 20-ounce hammer, straight claw, a screwdriver set, a tape measure, like a 25-footer, a stud finder, that's optional, or a torpedo level, a 2-foot level is optional, pliers, channel locks, needle nose, and wire cutters. I would recommend all those. Wire strippers, a crescent wrench, electrical tape, a 4-inch putty knife, that's technically optional, Allen key set, a retractable utility blade, a circuit tester, and of course you're going to need a toolbox to put all these tools in. And then a battery drill, a cordless drill. You could get the set I got where you got it up here. And a lot of times you could go to the store like Lowe's, Home Depot. They'll have over the holiday times, they'll have specials where you literally will save $50 to $100. And if you miss that special, I bought a Just for example, just real quick, video's long, but this is very serious stuff, people. Hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. But I bought a 12-inch miter compound miter saw. It's a double count. It goes both ways, sliding saw, and I got it for $350. It normally sells for $550. I saved $200. I go to the store and I see at $550 or even $500. I'm like, holy cow, that was a deal. And I hated to spend that money, but it's like, all right, that's my trim saw. And then I have another miter saw that's like, if I'm going to do a deck or rough cut lumber, I use that because I have a different blade in that. But I hope this helps. And as a homeowner, and you don't have to, you could probably save some money and not buy. I was trying to find more of the affordable things at Home Depot, believe it or not. You don't want to invest in a cheap set. Stanley, I tell you, you buy a Stanley set 20 years ago, garbage. And I tell you, they've come a long ways. There's so many brands out there that you can invest in, and it's whatever is affordable for your wallet. And well, good luck. I hope this helps you all. And thanks for watching. And we'll see you on the next one.